Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. Now they didn't really come into play though. We had this small retest here and then we dropped and then went sideways for the rest of the day. But that's not really very significant. Basically we have the overnight high and the overnight low, but they didn't come into play today. So this area here, so I started trading right here. This is around 8 o'clock Central Time. We pushed lower here, reached that measured move here at around 8:30. So this area right here is a perfect area to look for a reversal pattern because you're breaking out of the overnight low, and when you break out of the overnight low, what do you expect? You expect price to reverse and fade back in. And so when you reach a measured move like that to the tick and then start pushing up higher here, you're expecting a reversal. excuse me. So you're expecting a reversal from this area because you got the measured move, you expect price to fade, and then at this point, you're pushing up higher here. What you'd like to see, what the closest possible trade from this area would be, was to push up, form a failed second entry, which is a reversal pattern if it's at a reversal area, and then you just take the reversal. But instead, what happened is we just push up, and then we just drop. And so there's no way to get in on that short there either. It's just a first entry closing back above the EMA and the overnight low. It could easily tick lower there, make a second leg up there, two legs up. You could easily just trap the shorts there and form a reversal pattern higher. So absolutely no reason to go short right there. Anyway, we push lower here. We get these small corrections here to the, not quite to the EMA. It's not quite reaching. But then here, it's easier to see this downtrend here, which, let me get that exact. So notice how we have these lows here. We only have it off the high right there, one high. But notice these lows, 1, 2, 3, and then as we reach it here for a fourth time, we push up. We have this first entry short, second entry short. So you can see that second entry right there. Now, the reason I don't like it is because you only have one significant attempt after coming off this side of the channel, and then when you get that second attempt, it's already kind of going sideways. You're entering low, and so for those reasons combined, I don't like this trade here. Because when you come off one side of a channel, you want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue entering along with that channel here. So we only have really one significant attempt, and this second attempt, you can clearly see it, but it's insignificant and also getting a bit sideways and choppy. It's just not an ideal looking entry. I would stay out of that. I did stay out of that. So we push lower here. We reach that low again here. We bounce off. Instead, this time we actually reach the high here. We get two legs up here. Notice that first entry short, second entry short, two legs up, reaching that high right there. Because you can find these channels off these lows. Notice how you drag it up to that wick right there. It ended up fitting really well there. Now, I don't like any shorts in this area here. Of course, I don't like this first bar. It's not even a good signal bar. It's closing out. It's not really holding on this range very well. This trend very well at that, on that bar. But then here, we do close back in, but we clearly rejected the EMA, so I'm not going to use that as a signal bar either. And then here, by the time we close below, it's still not a perfect signal bar, but you'd also have to push it pretty far past this low right here because your stop would still have to go all the way above this bar here. So say you entered with a stop order on that, you'd be pushing it very far out. Now, I remember you would not have been filled with a limit order here, but if you could get in there, you'd be able to get out before those lows, but you still have no good signal bar. So I all around don't like this area. I don't like this trade in this area right here. So if you got a really good significant bar pushing down there, then I would think it's fine to try to get in with the limit order to get out before there, but you don't even get a good signal bar. So anyway, this trade is just not for me. It doesn't look high probability, so I avoided it. I don't like it. Anyway, so notice how even though we only have two bounces off these highs of this channel, this is still a valid channel. You can get them off the lows. That's one of the things. It's hard to get used to it. It's just trying to find channels off the lows. It takes people a while to get used to that sometimes because you're so used to drawing them off the highs for downtrends and off the lows for uptrends. But you can find them either way. And one thing is, mess around with it. You don't have to start it off of the wick and go straight off the body. It's what fits best. So, sometimes you'll adjust it around a little bit. I adjusted this one around quite a bit. First I was drawing it off that wick. I was trying to see where it fits best. So there's not really a set rule for how to draw a trend line. It's just whatever fits best. You adjust it as time goes on. Now, so we break here. Notice how we break you know, with these two legs out, and then we have these two legs back down here. First entry long, second entry long. Considering how strong this push down was, considering we didn't even consider this overnight low there, we didn't even consider this measured move here. We just blasted straight through both of them. This is very bearish at this point, and so when I would want to see two clear attempts at a new low for this downtrend before, and then a reversal before going long. Because at this point right here, we just have downtrend break and then just a little second entry long. That's not enough to go long right after this huge drop down, so I don't like going long there. Now, this short right here, which I missed, and I just went through the Discord before starting this video, and other people were in the Discord were looking at this, and they also missed out on it. So that's unfortunate. It happened really fast. If you remember watching this live, this just happened so fast. It just spiked down. I couldn't get my stop order in time, and then the limit order with a limit order after, it never came back. So no good trade. I mean, there is a good trade there, but no way to get in on that safely. So anyway, we have this downtrend break, and then notice how price action levels get bigger as more time goes on. At first, we have these two legs down here, which eventually turns into this one leg. So downtrend break, first attempt lower. These two become one leg there. Downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Now, at first, when we start this second attempt lower here, the EMA holds, but then it actually blasts straight through it there, which is why I think this looks good. It looks like a good trade, but like I said, it happened too fast. You can't get in on it, unfortunately. I'm sure someone got in on it. I mean, of course people got in on it. It went down there. People have to sell for it to go down, but yeah, I missed out on that, unfortunately. So anyway, we push lower here. We make this new low. We have this downtrend break, new low, so it's not surprising that we reversed from there, which I quickly want to adjust this range right here, because at first I had it right here, which this right here, I wouldn't mind pushing it out to down here, because you did already break that level before, and then it never really held perfectly on this level anyway. You did have that one retest there, but it already blasted through before, and so if you want to enter that, a really strong looking trade, second attempt down for this major drop, I don't mind pushing it out to where it's broken out before. So anyway, we push lower here, we make a new low for that downtrend break, new low, and we immediately reverse higher here. It's too choppy, there's no way to get in on this. You can kind of see that reversal pattern there. You see that spike up and then the couple legs back. So there is a reversal pattern there. It's kind of choppy and hard to see, and it's not safe to enter because it's so choppy and just straight sideways in this little range right here. But we do push higher here. Now price spikes up like that. Now I talk about symmetry trades. So when I talk about symmetry trades, that means when price spikes up in one direction, you can often expect it to just spike back in the other direction. And you can use these symmetry moves to your advantage if you can find an entry at them, because not all symmetry moves will have an entry inside of them. Sometimes they just spike up, spike back down real fast, and then it creates a V shape or an A if it's, this direction. But we spiked up. Now at this point, even though we have this huge spike higher here, overall we have been bearish all day. Very strong downtrend at that point. We spike up higher here, and then we immediately start spiking back down. Now you could expect a second leg higher there, but considering how bearish we already were, and then considering we're already spiking back down, I'm expecting this to just be a symmetry move right here. You spike up, we're already spiked halfway back down, very strong, just as strong as this spike up. I'm expecting a symmetry trade. And so when the bulls attempt to buy off this low right here, and they get this big bullish bar, and then it ticks higher and just traps straight lower, stops them out immediately, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this is absolutely a symmetry move right here. Look how strong that trap looks, especially right after this strong push down, already completing 50% of this symmetry move down. So when I see that trap ticking back lower there, I like that, just to go to that measured move there. Of course, this low I had extended before at this point, so this isn't quite 1 to 2. This is 1.8 R, just to keep it within that measured move, because sometimes it'll just bounce right off of it. Sometimes it'll have two clean moves down. And plus, there was symmetry. The spike really started from here, so I am pushing it a couple ticks lower than that. But as long as you're within that measured move, you should be good. I didn't even want to push it down to these lows just to be safe there. And one thing I do want to mention is this short right here. Now, when you look at this short alone, it doesn't look perfect because it's been going sideways. But considering you have this move in play, you're clearly making a symmetry move. this right here is a good trade. You can take that right there. If you're not already in this, you can take that right there, considering you know that this is already a good looking trade right here. Well, if you know that's a good looking trade right there, then you'd know to get in there if you're not already in. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. You can see those two legs up to the EMA. It is choppy, but considering the context, I would enter that if I wasn't already in this right here. So anyway, we push lower here. We reach those lows. So we reach this range low right here. And then eventually I looked at lowering it because it just fits a little bit better there. Because after you get multiple breakouts, you can look to extend the range highs and lows. So if we got a second breakout here, all the way up here, then I would look to, you know, move the highs up there. So anyway, here, the reason I like this trade here, we reached that low. We have this first leg up, break, second leg up. It's so close to being measured. It's not quite measured, but we push lower here. We're forming resistance here. Notice how we had that level there. We retested it there, bounced off, and then we're finding resistance here again, which is why we can't reach that measured move. And so when we close back below the EMA, we already know we're very bearish on this day. We had this symmetry. Now, considering we're so bearish already, we can expect a possible second leg down from this, which we clearly did. This move right here actually led to that second. You can see this first leg break, second leg, they're clearly connected to each other. So I like this only after it closes below the EMA. And it was kind of in the middle of this range here. You can see it's in the middle of that range, but you can see that resistance forming right there. You can see the two legs up. It rejected this resistance right here. And so I like that, just to write it down to that, to the range low right here, not pushing it through, just 1-to-1 to the range low there. We do push out of it. We, you know, break out again. We start to fade, and that's where I tricked myself. I went long. Look, you know, can you believe that? So first entry short, second entry short, failure. I was expecting a nice failed second entry. Now I might have been like too zoomed in because it's like I kind of, oh whoops, I might have been too zoomed in. It kind of looked better when zooming in, but when you zoom out, you can see that's just like one spike higher going against this downtrend here, which I didn't get this downtrend in time. I entered into it not realizing that it was there. I didn't even draw it, but as soon as it was hovering near my stop, I drew it and I was like, what did I do? So I entered right into this downtrend line right here, which it's not like it's a pretty wide downtrend for being in a channel, but the lows fit. Let me get this exact. Where was it? There we go. And before the entry, I can see that it reacted to it a third time right there. So, you know, that's not a small deal. That's a big deal. You know, 3 bounces off those highs. The lows fit twice. You don't want to enter right into that while you're already super bearish on the day. And so considering that we were bearish, we formed a range, so the range has a bearish bias. You can look for longs if you can get a good setup that's not into resistance and if the lows hold well. But one thing I didn't really consider was the fact that we had 2 legs up here that were unable to reach this high. That's a sign of a bearish imbalance. And so when you're already bearish and then price comes off the lows of this range and you can't reach the highs, that's a sign that the bulls are really not winning out. And so it should have definitely been more obvious to look for some kind of downtrend there. And I could have stayed out of that. But anyway, I got trapped on that. Bounced right off that trend line right again, pushed down to my stop, and anyway, that was annoying. But as soon as I got stopped out, look what happened. 2 huge spikes up, right where I was expecting it to go. Other side of that range, right there, just like the range rules do. They go from side to side. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. You know, maybe we can get something like a reversal pattern back down right here. That'd be the closest thing in this area to get the closest trade in this area right here would be a reversal pattern. Failed second entry, holding below the EMA. But I'm done for the day. Look at those 2 spikes up. Let's see if that's measured there. Look at that. Measured. You know, the wick goes a lot higher, but it's measured to that body right there. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope this helped in some way, and I'll see y'all next time.